Hello there, so I'm inspired to share this with you this morning. There's this thing called the Tarot Wheel of the Year, and if you want to find out more about it, I suggest you go to my playlist, which includes all of the 10-day decanates of all of the 12 signs of zodiac, which takes you through the entire year. So at the moment, what we're in the first decade of Taurus. And the image you can see of the pregnant woman just to the left of the candle is the image that we use to transform the particular quality at this time of year. So this is the way that it works. Each 10-day period of the time of the year has a particular underlying energy. And the underlying energy of this particular time, from the 21st to the 30th of April, is characterized by the key word worry. However, when you go on the journey, which I give in great detail on the very first of the set of films in that playlist, which is to do with the one which is called the Two of Wands Dominion, this is the Five of Cups. We transform worry into a much greater awareness about what this time of year is about. Because let's face it, if you're living in a country which is away from the tropics, then you are really feeling, in the northern hemisphere, the energy of spring, burgeoning. If you're in the south hemisphere, you'll feel the energy of autumn kicking in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read out to you the words for this particular 10-day period in our year. And what I do, I've only started doing it this year, but I'm including in my meditations, I'm actually going through putting each card up on the altar and speaking the words out, because I find it so helpful. It literally is a spiritual development course if you follow the entire year. So this is the fourth one. We've been through the 3 decanates of Aries, which was dominion, virtue and completion. Now here we are transforming worry. When you transform worry, this is what it becomes. It becomes the journey, or the process is the way, which is also the goal. Which is why the creators of the Orosoma Tarot deck have chosen pregnancy as a way to illustrate this. And the reason why they've chosen pregnancy is because it's something that almost everyone can relate to as one of the most intense tests a human being gets to experience. Being pregnant, being with someone who's dying, being with someone through the dying process, being fully aware when someone that you love very dearly has died. These are really intense tests. There are others, and I'm sure if you give yourself a chance to think about them, it won't be that hard to come up with other examples of things which are a really intense test. So the thing that's so helpful to realize when we're going through an intense test, it is an initiation. All shamanic initiations are intense tests. So this is a very shamanic film. So let's listen to those words again and see what they are. They are the journey, or the process of life you might be going through, like being pregnant, is the way, which is also the goal. So when we're in our egos, it's so tempting when we're going through something that's really uncomfortable to want it to be over quickly and done with. When we go into that wanting, we are effectively robbing ourselves of the great potential of experience. So the advice that the words are giving is that when you're going through something which is really challenging, testing, maybe very upsetting, the invitation is not to hide away from it. The invitation is to completely embrace it. And this is a huge advantage all women have over men, as they get the opportunity to have this, one of the ultimate initiations, which is the body changes And rather like imbibing a plant medicine, when you've imbibed the plant medicine, if your ego decides you don't want to do it, tough. If you've actually become pregnant and you've made the choice to continue to turn, tough. You've made the decision. That's it. Choice has been made. The die is cast. And you can spend those 9 months in resistance and denial, or you can completely throw yourself into experience and realize that every pain and every nausea and vomiting and every part of that experience is actually incredibly precious and of extremely great value. So let's go into it a little bit more. So I've spoken about it. It is an intense test, right? To be able to find discernment towards a deeper balance, that's what intense tests do. They give us the ability to discern what's what and to get ourselves into a state while we are more balanced. That's what all shamanic initiations and all intense tests provide us. And ultimately, a pregnancy, a shamanic initiation, a intense test is a new possibility that comes out of an immense challenge. A deep joy as we make the appropriate decisions and come to a new direction within ourselves. And that's why so many women, when they become pregnant, there's this question: do I abort? To abort or not to abort? And I use that word deliberately. Let's not sugarcoat it with these ridiculous terms like termination. It's an abortion. Do you or don't you? Well, that perhaps is the most extremely intense part of the whole process. Having to reflect on what Hamlet had to reflect to in Shakespeare: to be or not to be, to allow the life or not to allow the life. That is the question. To go on this journey or to abort the journey, that is the question. That is the ultimate question. And whichever choice is made, once a choice is made, a letting go. And if the choice is made to go on the journey, then there is a deep happiness and understanding which can be born into the world. Can be born into the world. So if you're going through a really challenging, troubling, upsetting, disturbing time, which is causing you to feel like you might be going a bit nuts, celebrate the fact that, like the pregnant woman in the card, you are fully alive and you make your choices in the moment. And whatever choice you make, that's your choice. And you live with the consequences. And that's how it is, isn't it? To be fully alive. And this is the thing about all initiations, all intense tests. That's how we know we are fully alive. Ultimately, being pregnant is the supreme example of celebrating life. And all intense tests give us the opportunity to celebrate life, celebrate our choices, and celebrate the journey. All the love to you.